Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Ankerstar Wealth Morning Show. I'm your host, Allison Ankerstar, and today we'll be talking about earnings releases for CVS, Moderna, and Airbnb. But before we begin, as a reminder, this is a financial education presentation and should not be construed as personal financial advice. Full disclaimer information is available at ankerstarwealth.com. Good morning, Steve. CVS was one of the several companies to beat earnings this morning. Is ticker CVS a buy-seller hold?
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show. CVS is one of those names that, let me get the right screen up here. Here you go. Lots going on with technology this morning. CVS is one of those names you have to like, right? I mean, everybody likes it from the convenience of the store being right down the road. They do command a premium because it's so convenient, if you will. So really, when you look at CVS, beating expectations, especially, in a recession or almost declared recession, that's a really good sign for the economy. That means people are spending. Now, you remember back to Walmart saying that the lower echelon of their demographic is kind of reduced spending, but the upper 60% has not. Well, this would be the upper 60% that doesn't mind paying $1 extra for toothpaste or whatever they need, just due to availability and convenience. They have pharmacies as well, and they have those within the Target stores. So there's lots to like here about CVS Health after they beat expectations. When you take a look at their stock, you get over here to the stock screen. It's still pretty cheap long term. I don't personally hold this. I do have some in the book. You can see it's up 3%. If you kind of go back to the 5-year, it did run up big into, when COVID was happening and everybody was particularly concerned, with healthcare. Obviously, it's going to drive up some more business there. Dropped all the way down recently to 80. Kind of if you go to the year-to-date chart, down here at 80 and then up down towards 100. When you look, get a little bit of a dividend, couple percent, and still pretty cheap overall. So again, not really a screaming buy, but I think it's fine if you're a fan of CVS, you want to put some CVS in your portfolio. That's a fine move.
Next, vaccine maker Moderna also reported better than expected revenue and profit this quarter. What's your take on ticker MRNA?
Yeah, I thought this was an interesting headline. Writes off, $500 million in expiring COVID shots. We kind of knew that, right? So you go into tackle, a major pandemic. You're going to overproduce and you're going to have waste at the end of it. And of course, that happened here too. But a lot of other things to like about Moderna is, good earnings. They guided up, if you will, and they're starting to do a stock buyback. So those are the things to like. What are the things not to like? Well, let's look at the chart. This stock is a little too cyclical for me. Now, if we have another strain come out or another pandemic or, monkeypox is 3 states in now for declaring emergencies. If that kind of takes off nationwide and we go back into pandemic mode, here's what you could see. Then it would be time to rush back in. There was BioNTech, Moderna, Pfizer, were the major kind of drug makers that you wanted to get in on. Obviously, when that's going on, you also want to exit from them when it's out. So I would say now is not necessarily the time to get in one of these names, but they're names to keep in mind, if you will, for PE. So it's super cheap. You could make an argument from that perspective. But overall, not really interested in Moderna unless something else major comes out as far as health.
Last, Airbnb beat earnings after the bell last night, but the stock is down over 5%. Why is this the case?
Yeah, I throw this under, Airbnb is like Uber and any of the other sharing things, or even Angie's List. That's a little bit different. Obviously, you're not sharing, you're buying there, but all of these platforms that kind of decentralize things and allow people to take their stuff and have other people borrow it, use it, rent it, whatever, for a fee. I think they're challenging business models from fee compression, right? So, Uber came out and it's like, we can charge what we want. Lyft came out and Uber says we cannot charge what we want because everybody would go to Lyft at that point. So you have natural market forces that kind of even these things out. Airbnb is one of many in the space, the big name, if you will, but you have VRBO, you have, simply Expedia, or, really there's several places where you can go to find, a place to stay. But overall, Especially 6 months into kind of a challenging year, here is Airbnb beating expectations. So that's a real good sign. So 3 for 3 today on the beating expectations. However, the reason I chose this stock for Allison and I to talk about this morning is because this is the power of guiding down. If you notice, the other two were up this morning. Airbnb is down. So again, there's 3 factors that go into an earnings release. You have revenue, top line, earnings, bottom line of the P&L. And then the last one is that forward expectation, and they guided down. So they forecast that they're not going to do as well in the future. Obviously, stocks, I was talking about this yesterday with the family, actually. Stocks are forward looking, right? They're anticipating what the stock is going to, what the company is going to do in 1, 3, 5 years, not necessarily, like right now. So really forward looking. And again, the stock was down, 7% earlier. I don't think it's down as much right now. I think it was down 5% or so. But really, when you look at it, I don't really have any interest in this name. If you have properties or a personal experience with ABNB and you want some of it in your portfolio, that's on you. You can, 60 plus PE, no dividend, and lots of concern. Okay, more than a little, lots of concerns on, margins, if you will. So overall, not my fave, and wouldn't have it in my portfolio.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Please submit your questions as a comment through social media or directly to our email at vipservices@ankerstarwealth.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get daily updates. That's all we have for today's show. I'm Allison Ankerstar, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.